Welcome back to Heroes Next Door. Thank you all for joining us today. If you remember, we did a video on the FAST Rescue Board. Today we are back at the training center with Sadsburyville Fire Company, and we're doing a full rescue class. Makers of this board are here teaching us exactly what we need to know and how to use it.
Eric and I have been friends for probably the better part of 30 years, and he came to me in 2015 with an idea that he had come up with that he really felt was going to solve a lot of problems in the fire service.
So what inspired me is I was teaching how to move a firefighter up a flight of stairs and patient packaging. I was really big into that, and moving civilians and down firefighters. And when I was getting taught these things, our instructors would tell us, this is the best technique we've got. You got to get your head down in the their crotch. You got to get the guy up top. It's gonna suck, and it did. Moving what I call large mammals upstairs is a really tough thing to do. Then I found myself saying the same thing when I started teaching it. My instructors challenged us to come up with something better. We never did. I was challenging my students. And then one day I just kind of backed up and said, if I'm teaching this, I should be able to come up with something better if somebody's going to.
And when he ran me through the idea, I made a decision to go into business with him. I guess we incorporated in fall of 2015, filed all the patents, and then we went to market with the board in 2016.
The original team was my crew at my firehouse. They knew I was working on it. I had done close to, if not more than 6 years of R&D. And I would work on something, I would take it in, I'd work on it with my guys, we would come up with the problems. That was the original team. The firefighters is, bouncing it off of those guys. And then I would take it to another platoon and I would allow them to go into it and then just take their feedback. And then, whatever the positives were, we tried to keep them. And whatever the negatives were, we tried to adjust it. And then I just couldn't put it down. I just kept after it. And really what I started doing was dissecting the problems of moving a body, whether it be a firefighter or civilian. And it really comes down to lack of rigidity in the body. The body's like a bag of chain, especially an unconscious victim. Firefighters were covered with snag hazards. The environment loves to just reach out and grab a hold of us, especially if we're moving across the floor. The more of the body we leave on the floor, the harder it is to move the body, so that's why we try to pick them up, which really decreases our efficiency. We're using more muscle. If we're using more muscle, we're using more air. If we're using more air, we can't stay in the fight as long. I was very steeped in rope rescue, and rope rescue, it's good for what it is. So I had all these rules that were ingrained in me for rope rescue, and I had to leave a lot of that behind. Rope rescue doesn't have a good place inside of a fire environment. So I just started having to pick those things out of there and say, okay, rope rescue is a stacking of systems to create as much safety as you can while you move someone. Fires are not safe places, and sometimes you have to move faster than what you would normally do, and you have to move through environments that are not safe.
When I would go to demos, the claims we would make in terms of what the national average is versus what we're doing, people would be very standoffish, especially some of the older guys. You'd see them all. And then Eric would start the demo, and really within a matter of minutes, the way the expressions changed we found, especially in the beginning, we had over a 90% conversion from doing a practical hands-on demo to purchase.
As I started to develop techniques and the board,
The only way it would really work is we would show it to people. Eric literally would stop by firehouses, take it in, show it to them, and then typically we would get a demo set up.
What constitutes survivability? Why we do the job we do. We do it for them. We train, everything that we do is based around civilians. We go into, rescue their homes, we rescue them. But talking about firefighter rescue was not something that was really focused on. It was an afterthought, like RIT became an afterthought. Then it became a checkbox on that safety sheet. But if you look at the numbers, we weren't really good at it. And it's my tribe. And once I got into it, I just wanted to make it better and better for us. And then I didn't really get pigeonholed into it, but that's really where I focused.
For anyone in the game, it didn't take me long to realize that in any rescue situation, light is always an issue. So very quickly we added, if you can see these stickers, they're called AWOGs, and they are photoluminescent. Just with a little bit of light in a dark situation, they really glow.
The board, if you take everything off of it except for the webbing.
Very rudimentary. There was nothing color coded, everything is orange. There's no Velcro. There's no, well, there was a multi-loop strap. I think it's shoved here in the rope bag. No lights.
That's really where the strength of the board is. Single point connection, single pull. Get somebody on it, make that connection, pull, start moving. Everything else was really on there as the what ifs. What if we needed to do a horizontal or a vertical lift in a horizontal plane? Then we put the horizontal bridle in there. The strap going across the middle, it's a good place to store your RIT bag or a med kit, or you could throw a tool on there. The Anderson Rescue strap, it's just a good piece of kit. When I saw the usefulness of it, I'm like, hey, let's put that on the board. So it's really, the design of the board is designed around efficiency.
So then you can see now there's Velcro everywhere. All the bags are color coded and you can, stick stuff all over. The lights were, I guess, the next evolution after the Velcro and the color coding. They were added about 2.5 or 3 years ago. That really has been a very big game changer.
We get a lot of feedback. Most of it is in social media posts. Hey, we're out training today on firefighter rescue or on RIT using the FAST board, game changer, that type of thing. We get a lot of feedback when we go to FDIC or these conferences and somebody's walking by and we're like, hey, have you seen what we're doing? They're like, yeah, we've got a couple of them. Best piece of equipment we ever bought, or great piece of equipment, or fantastic, or a lot of what we get is that game changer. We've had a lot of requests for doing a full-size board, same lashing type system, so we're looking at that. I've got some of the first ideas of my R&D. We had a flexible system. I'd like to try to get a flexible system in there. We're going to look at, right now we're going through getting our ISO 9001 so we can get our UL rating. So hopefully we can get other approvals. One of the approvals that I'd really like to get is to do airlift. So I'm always pushing it forward, always just trying to make it a little better without getting too off in the weeds. I don't want it to get so much that it's intimidating just to look at, which we get sometimes. Like, hey, there's a lot of stuff on there. And then you have to break it back down to show the simplicity of it. So we don't want to get it too complicated. It needs to stay simple.
you all for watching another Heroes Next Door. This was a training day with Sadsburyville Fire Company. This thing is absolutely going to save lives, so we appreciate you coming out and giving a demonstration and teaching us the proper way to do this. You know, if you guys are watching and you want to get one of their products, go to their website, and I'll put a link down below. They're going to definitely save lives, and you all should get it. Thank you all for watching, but before we end, do us a favor, hit subscribe, hit notification, and keep smashing those like buttons. We want to know what you guys think too, so put a bunch of comments down below on what you guys feel about the Fast Rescue. Eric, appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.